quick another little video. I just want to update you on my Turbo Trainer setup. So I've had a few different versions throughout the couple of years I've been doing Turbo Trainer. I used to have a basic Turbo Trainer called a wheel on, I think it's called, but it's called a dumb trainer because it you have to do all the settings yourself. It wasn't an automatic one, but it was good to get started. And I used to have it facing the other way, and I used to have an ironing board with my tablet and a tablet stand and my phone on the tablet stand and a power bank on the ironing board, and then I used to put the fan on the kitchen table. But this is the better setup I got at the moment. I've made it more specific just for my Turbo Trainer. It's in the kitchen, so if you haven't got a lot of space, you can't really do it, but it means I haven't got to get it in and out. It's just there. I know I'm going to use it every day, so instead of spending hours of setting up, taking it down, setting up, it's just there, out the way. So my house, I've got a window in the corner of my room, so what I'll do, after maybe 10 or 15 minutes, I'll open the window. For the first 5 or 10 minutes, normally you have a bit of a warm up, so you start off nice and easy and it goes up and up and up, and then at about 19 or 20 minutes dead on the clock, I'll feel a bit of sweat dripping. It takes that long to get your core temperature and your body warmed up till you start to sweat. So when I start to sweat, then I'll open the window to get some cooler air in there. But if it's a winter, it might be a bit different. I've also got to remember, every time I do this, I got to remember maybe half an hour before I do the Turbo Trainer session to turn off the radiator. There's no point in having the radiator on next to the Turbo Trainer session. That actually feels a bit warm still, but that's why I've got 2 coasters on the radiator, because I probably shouldn't do this. If you're a plumber, they probably say you shouldn't be doing this, but I put my water bottles on top of the radiator. I could put one on top of the windowsill, but that's a bit too far back to reach. It's nice and handy on the radiator. I could put it in the water bottle bike holder, but I put one on the radiator. Just to make sure the radiator is turned off, put the coasters on there, and then in a nice comfortable position to reach down. I've also got my bib shorts and vest. You don't really have to wear a vest because I'm indoors in my own house, no one's going to see me, but it helps the sweat. If you're sweating and you've got nothing on, the sweat will just drip off you. But if you've got that vest, it sort of soaks up a little bit. But also then, because it is actually soaking, you can't feel it when you're riding a bike because you feel warm, but when you take the vest off, it's wet, but that wet will actually help you to cool down a little bit. It helps your body to evaporate the heat. That's why you sweat. There's heat in the sweat, and then when it evaporates, it takes the heat with it. But it needs air and circulation to do that. So that's why you got the window open, and you've got a cool fan, and it'll help you cool down. But if you didn't have a vest top on, you had nothing on, or the wrong type of t-shirt, you'd either sweat too much or not enough. At the moment, you can see there's just, let me just double tap the screen. You can see on there I got some tissues. I normally have 2 tissues on there. After a while you do start to have a runny nose and I need to blow my nose, so a couple of tissues spare on there. The TV remote control sits on there. I've got my phone and my tablet, my phone and my power bank, and then if I'm going to go on a ride and I need to have some sweets or banana, that can go on there ready. I got my gloves and a sweatband. It might look a bit daft, but I put a sweatband on my head. It just stops all the sweat dripping into your eyes. So you can go for a 2-hour bike ride without sweating all over the place on your face. If you come down here, every time I always turn off. There isn't actually a switch on the Turbo Trainer, so what I do, I unplug the wire just in case someone trips over it and yanks it out and breaks the connection. But I unplug it here. And it turns off the thing, because if I'm not going to use it for a couple of days, there's no real need to have power going into the Turbo Trainer, so I'll just unplug it. There's no switch on the machine, there's no switch on the power plug. It goes into an extension lead down there. It probably isn't a good idea having the power underneath the radiator, so if the radiator leaks and drips, it might drip on top of it. so I should probably think about moving that really. And then extension lead to the other side under the radiator. That's probably not the best idea really. I might tidy it up somehow and get the wires sorted, but that goes into extension lead. The extension lead goes into the wall. I've only got 2 plugs in the wall, so I've got extension lead in the one where I've got my tablet goes into it, the turbo trainer goes into it, and the TV goes into it. And then the other switch is for the fan, because to turn the fan on, it's on the back of the fan, and I can't reach that when I'm on the bike. But I don't need the fan until after 20 minutes, like I just said, when I'm hot, maybe even 30 minutes. The last couple of sessions I've even done without it because I want to get hot and sweat and make my sessions a bit harder. But you do notice that your heart rate will be higher when you're hotter. Turn the fan on for 10 minutes and then you'll notice on the screen your heart rate will drop by like 10 beats or something. So I don't need it straight away. It's really cold. It's like a turbo fan. So I've had set on number 2 setting, the highest setting, and it's like an airplane. So what I do, and also if I want to do a vlog or a phone call or something, I don't want it on because it's too noisy. So I'll turn it on as and when I need it. I can't reach the extension socket and I can't reach the back of the fan, but I can reach the mains plug. So that black plug there is for the fan, where I can reach down off the handlebars and flick it on and off when I need it. That one there does everything else. The silver wire is a USB into the wall, and then it goes round, and actually there's nothing in it at the moment, but then I can charge up my headphones or my old tablet had that type of connection, but I think some of my bike lights are that one. My Garmin bike computer is that connection. But the reason why I haven't got my tablet plugged into it, my tablet's plugged in, plugged into the extension lead. My tablet needs a bigger plug. There, you see, you got the tablet plug, that one there. I think that's a 5 amp plug. A normal USB plug, like your iPhone plug, is like a 1 amp, and in the wall it comes out at, it says 3.1, but I think that's 3.1 divided by 2, so you only get 1 amp. The tablet needs 5. Basically, if I plugged that tablet into that connection, there wouldn't be enough power. You could ride for an hour with it plugged in, with it turned on, doing your Zwift, and even though it says it's charging, it actually go down in power. You wouldn't charge up enough for what you've used. You can put it in charge overnight, so in the morning it'll be 100%. But if you want to do, say, an hour's turbo training session before work, take a tablet off and take it to work with you or go somewhere, it's not going to be fully charged. If I have it plugged into the mains using that plug, it will be fully charged. So the bike then, I got my bike, I got a phone holder, but I don't really use my phone on the bike. I just use the Zwift app. But there is another app called a Zwift Companion app, which you can control the bike and chat to people. It's a separate app while you're on the Zwift. So if I'm going to do a Zwift race with other people, or a bike ride where I might want to chat to people or change the settings while I'm riding, I can sometimes put my phone on there. And then so like, I don't talk to people in a race, but what you can do is, in some longer races like a 30-mile bike race, if you're going to ride for say 2 hours on a bike race, you can actually communicate and chat to the people next to you in the race. Not like how's your day, but you can say, you go now, I'll go. You can bike racing is a tactical team sport sort of, but if you're by yourself and you don't know anybody, but then you can group up together and gang up on people. So if you wanted to chase down a pack which is a mile ahead of you, you could chat to the people next to you and say, let's go, let's do it now, let's go. The last time I did it, we had this little group on my bike ride, and I could tell this one bloke was slowing down too much, but I needed to be behind him to have a little rest, and he needed me to go on further. So I said, well, I've noticed we're catching this bloke ahead. If we catch him up, when we caught him, I then told that bloke, stick with us and we'll do it together. And then eventually went from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, and then we had a nice little group, and we actually went faster than what we would have done individually. So you can do these things like a little elbow flick when you tell people to, you go ahead first. You can give people thumbs ups and stuff. And you can also look at other people, and if other people are ganging up on you saying let's go now, well, then you can go now. So that's why that's there. A towel, you definitely need a towel if you're indoors on a bike. Definitely, you'd be sweating like mad after about 20 minutes, so you need a towel. My floor is a tiled floor, so I can mop it afterwards, but you're definitely going to need that. You might be able to see here, I got this mat. It's not actually a Turbo Trainer mat, it's actually from a hardware store where I think it's supposed to be for your washing machine. It's quite thick. I'm not sure how thick it is, about 10mm thick, but it's a foam and it's supposed to stop vibrations from washing machines, and it's really good. I noticed if you put the Turbo Trainer straight on the concrete tiled floor, well then the noise will just vibrate through the whole house, everybody hear it. So that is really good, and it gives you a cushion as well. I know on this Wahoo Kicker it's got a bit of a spongy rubber discs on the bottom that do give a bit of a couple of degrees of movement, but it's even better that way, especially if you've got an expensive carbon bike. Bikes aren't supposed to be rigid in the frame, they're supposed to move a bit. When you're pedaling, they're supposed to bend and move, so it's good to have a rubber mat on there to give it a bit of shock absorbance. Yeah, so I got my TV. I bought that TV specifically for the bike now because I used to have it a different way. I used to watch, well, I couldn't actually do Zwift on my old app, on my old tablet, because you couldn't get Zwift on the old tablet, so I used to use a different app, and then used to use my phone and watch a tablet, and then eventually when I realised I wanted to do turbo training more regular, I got a TV there, bought a stand. You can move it that way and tilt it back and forward. That's set at the right height. I didn't want to screw it to the wall, because if you screw it to the wall it's only fixed for one position, but at least this way, if I do want to watch it in the house, in the kitchen, I can turn it. It's a smart TV, so I normally put YouTube on either with some cycling type video or fitness motivation videos, or if it's a really hard bike race, some sort of music, so I'll just search for trance music on this one here now. If it's a really easy, gentle, longer ride, I might watch a movie on Netflix. Oh, bless me. There we go. So, TV with the entertainment. I've got my tablet with my Zwift plugged in because it does use power. Got my headphones, got my towel, made my phone goes on handlebars. Got my bike. I got a pump in the corner because my tyres do go down every week because of the inner tubes I've got. My water bottles are on the radiator, which I make sure I turn off. I need to make sure I don't leak on my electricity wires. But I plug in the turbo trainer over there. I make sure this leg's pulled out. You can tuck it away. I make sure it's pulled out. Trainer's ready, headband and gloves, and that's good to go. All I need to do today is, I've had some pre-workout already about a quarter of an hour ago, so I'm good to go. All I do now is go and put my bib shorts on, my little vest, and then gloves and sweatband. I don't really need headphones on today because there's no one else in the house. There's no noise outside, no one's cutting the grass. I'm not even making a video anyway while I'm riding today, but I like to have headphones on. It just gives you a bit more noise closer to your ears, a bit like a spinning class. I like live music when I'm training. I don't want to hear birds singing, and I don't need concentration, but I like to be in my zone. I like to just have 60 minutes of live music, because then the rest of the day I can just relax and have not live music. So when I'm on a turbo training session, if I'm doing 60 minutes on the bike, I'm doing 60 minutes on the bike. I'm not talking to people, I'm not communicating, I'm not on the phone chatting, I'm not reading a book. I don't say you can read a book when your heart rate is 100 and whatever beats. When I'm sweating and going for it, that's me going for it. So that's that. The only annoying thing is YouTube has adverts these days. Every 5, 10, 20 minutes an advert pops up, and then you have to get your remote down here and skip the ads if you can. But apart from that, I'll quickly go into. It's actually set up. What I'll do is I'll come down to here, workout anytime. If I click on one of them, here's the list of all the workouts you can do. I'm doing a TT tune-up, so click on that. I think I'm on week 4, so click on that. I can do anyone I like, but I think the last one I did was endurance number 2. It's saying I did that in 2021. Anaerobic capacity actually might be not there. No, it wasn't. I done 30-30. I did anaerobic. I did the cruise, that was hard. I'm sure I did endurance last. It might be tempo 15 minutes this one. Anyway, what I'll do is I'll go onto my phone, onto my app. I'll see for definite which one I did last, and I'll just do the next one. Now it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's got 6 sessions there in week 4. I'm going to do them, so I'll do that by Saturday. But actually, if I'm on whatever day I'm on, and it's Monday today, so I might even be week 5 on Wednesday or whatever. So I'm not following it week by week. And there's 6 sessions, but I'm going to do 7 this week. I'm going to do up to Sunday. If I'm going to train for 2 hours a day and then an hour session, I might even do 2 a day if I can. Maybe not 1 back to back. I might do 1 this morning, 1 tomorrow in the afternoon. But like one's 1 hour 7, then an hour and 1, hour and 3, hour and 9, and 54 minutes. So they're not all an hour each, and so I'm not following it weekly. It says week 4. It's not week 4. I think I'm actually week 5 into my training. Whatever. I'm just going to follow it in order. Whatever I can do. If I can do 2 a day, I'll do 2 a day. Maybe back to back. Maybe if I do a hard session, then I'm going to do another one straight after. I might skip the next one and find the next easy one, and then go back and back. Whatever. As long as I get them all done, it's okay. If I'm going to do, say, a 90-minute session, I might do 1.5. And then if I know my mind, I could have completed that one. I won't go back to it and do it again. I know I could have done it. If I'm short for time, I'll just do half and stop. There is a way of getting on the bike and then skipping the segments and then fast forwarding, if you will, until the bit you need. But you won't have the right warm up. And it's not the same because you haven't. Some of the sessions are planned where it gets harder towards the end because you've already done the hard bits before it. So if you just skip straight to that hard bit, it's not going to be hard because you're fresh. So it doesn't make sense just to do your own warm up and skip to the hard bit. It doesn't work like that. Really, I think maybe if they're clever, they'd have planned it so it's in order. You stick to that order and it should follow on the next one. But I don't think they've been that clever because some of the trainer sessions is just like, if you're doing intervals, for example, you could do 1 minute hard, 1 minute easy, 1 minute hard, 1 minute easy, 1 minute hard, 1 minute easy. Say 10 hard bits, 10 easy bits, then a bigger rest. 10 hard bits, 10 easy bits, then a bigger rest. 3 times, right? Say you're going to do that. The longer rest period in between the interval section bits might be, say, 5 minutes, real easy. But what you got is you got hard, easy. So easy for a minute, then rest for 5 minutes. Well, that's actually 6 minutes rest. You don't need 6 minutes rest. Why didn't they just make it hard, easy, then 4, hard, easy, then 4? Because you've done 5. There's some training sessions where it doesn't work out right. Where if I was planning it, I would have planned it differently. Maybe they've just done it so it fits an hour exactly, or maybe they've done it, I don't know. I just don't think I think they say that someone's planned it, but I think maybe a computer's generated it or someone's generated it. It's not that specific, it's Zwift. You're paying like $12.99 a month. It's not a £5,000 training plan personalised to you, so it's not perfect. I'm not sure if it's that perfect that you have to do it in order of days. I'm sure if you just do 6 hard training sessions a week in some sort of order with a bit of rest and nutrition and sleep, you're going to get the benefits of the training session. And then after week 8, you're not going to win the world's TT championships, but you're going to be a bit better. That's the goal anyway. So yeah, that's my setup. I'm going to go and get changed and do a bit. See you later.